You're watching the Friendo Public Network.
Hey Friendo, Steve here. Welcome to the new Friendo Workshop on the new Friendo Workshop channel. Yeah, I decided to move over to my own channel because my Friendo sketch pads and workshops and stuff were just cluttering up the old Steven Larson page. So this is the place where you'll be able to see all the sketch pads, all the workshops, and maybe some other stuff that I got cooking up. Who knows? It's YouTube. You can do whatever the hell you want. Anyways, Borderlands 2 came out last week. Some of you may have played that game. Larson and I played quite a bit of it. We did a 10 for the win on it. We did an episode of Versus on it. And I figured, hey, what the heck? I'll draw some of the characters from Borderlands 2 and toss them up here on the Friendo Workshop. And I'm happy with the way the piece turned out. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Alright, Friendo, so here we go. We're going to answer some questions. I asked for questions, so you can get my answers while you're watching my Borderlands 2 sketch. And if you have any questions about the drawing as you see it, then jot it down in the comment section and I'll answer it once the episode goes live and I see your comment. Seth Hayes says, Steve, who's your comic artist icon? Back in the day when I started collecting comics, I was big into Norm Brayfogle and Jim Aparo. Jim Aparo's actually dead, but Norm Brayfogle's still kicking around and drawing. Those guys were drawing Batman when I first got into Batman. That was the first comic book series that I started picking up, and I branched out from there. Oh, Kevin Maguire was awesome back in the day. He's still around too. These days, Frank Quitely and Paul Pope are two of my absolute favorites. Frank Quitely's hands down the best comic book artist working today, and Paul Pope is just one of the best illustrators working today. Michael Gerard, what character do you find the most difficult to draw? Anything tech, like Transformers. I had a friend who could draw Robotech characters super cool, like really perspective was all perfect. I've never been good at that kind of stuff, like tech stuff. Never been good at that. So if you ask me to draw Transformers, I'll probably say no. Alistair McKinnon, what is your most favorite thing to draw? I'd say the human face is my favorite thing to draw because it can be so expressive. You can do so much with it. I don't know. That's my most fun thing to draw. That's probably what I work on the most. Rang Dipkin, are there any styles of drawing you'd like to learn? I'd like to learn how to do manga properly because there's some manga that really just appeals to me. I think it'd be fun to do like a little manga one day. Justin Paul Osborne, what is the average airspeed of a laden swallow? You mean a African or European swallow? Casper Sorensen, where do you find inspiration? All over the place, man. I pick up magazines a lot, like illustration magazines, like Juxtapose rather. There's one called High Fructose, I think. I'm not sure if I'm getting that right. Blue Canvas, all sorts of great illustration and design magazines. I love design magazines. And you know, you take a look at those and see who's doing what and what's going on out there. If anybody's doing anything new, and you pick and choose from everybody's style and you make it your own, and that's how I get inspiration anyways. Malik Al-Ghamdi is asking me with caps, draw Adam Jensen, and man, maybe I will. Just, you know, stop yelling. This Friendo Workshop is supposed to be mellow. Joel Kayanta Peterson clarifies for Justin, do you mean an African or European swallow? So we're all on the Monty Python kick, I guess. Let's see. Derek Durka Adcox, what part of the human figure do you have the hardest time with? For me, it's hands. That's what he says. For him, it's hands. For me, it's feet. Hands can be difficult. Feet will just stump me. Feet just absolutely can stump me from time to time. It's got the heels. It's got the weird little toes. It's got the slope going. Yeah, feet for me. Let's see here. Ewan Baxter Walters. Will you have my man babies? Are you offering me your children? Is that what you're at? Are you saying you have man babies and you want to give them up? Because I don't want them. And I don't want to have your kids either, if that's what you mean. So no on both. Matthew James O. Gonzalez. Did Arby's help your creative juices running? I'll be honest with you. I don't really eat Arby's that much. I kind of think it's gross. Like from time to time, like once a year maybe. But it is kind of nasty, but it's definitely the funniest thing to make fun of because like who really eats Arby's? Like really, come on. Aaron Dempsey says, I always see that you end up on Google Images to find a paper texture. Why not make a folder for a collection of textures? I personally have a folder with over 1,000 different textures, about half of which are all different paper textures, the rest being walls and metals. That'd probably be a good idea. It'd probably be easier for you just to zip that file down for me, your texture file folder, and just send it to me so that I don't have to do that. because that's impressive that you have that many textures. One day maybe I'll get organized enough to do that, and I'll grow up and be like Aaron Dempsey. Tristan Black, after your drawing is complete, do you ever look at it and feel like you screwed up somewhere? Yeah, I do, and that's a good thing as an artist, because you're always gonna your hope is that you're always gonna get better, and to get better you have to recognize what you're doing wrong. And when you're done with something, you should always be able to find, it's rare, although it doesn't happen, it's rare that something comes out better than you expected it. More often than not, there's going to be something in there that you're not going to like. And you need to recognize that and work on that, because that's the only way to grow. Let's see here. Manny Figueros says, Steve here, have you ever had an artist block? And if so, how do you get over it? One of two ways. You can either try to just draw through it, which doesn't really work for me. For me personally, I just walk away, go do something else, watch a movie, play a video game, just read, do nothing, look at other stuff, look at other, like, drawing magazines or whatever, and then come back to it later, and hopefully you'll have found it. But yeah, that happens to everybody, I think. Let's see here. Abdiel Laredo, how did you and Larson become friendos? Which is answered then by Stuart McMullen. They met in high school, which is true, in our physics class, Mr. Yost. Anthony Robert Flores, what is your favorite crossover comic, and what's your personal favorite Batman comic? My first personal favorite Batman comic is probably Paul Pope's Year 100. Yeah, and my favorite crossover comic would have to be Superman versus Muhammad Ali, just for the sheer ridiculousness of it. Gordon Jones, if you could have your way with any female superhero or villain, who would it be? Mystique doesn't count because she could be anyone. I don't know. Never really thought about that before. I guess like Vampirella, because then she'd bite me and I'd be a vampire. I could live forever. Luke Reynolds, who is your favorite artist? He says, who's your favorite video game concept artist? Honestly, I don't know any video game concept artists. I mean, I'm not aware of any, just because I'm ignorant of the. I just don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. But I mean, there's lots of cool video game stuff. Whoever designed the Dead Space stuff is cool. Whoever designed the Borderlands stuff is cool. Trying to think of any. The Suda 51 guy is cool. Yeah, I like them. Finally, Liam Lacey just says caricatures. I kind of have a problem with caricatures. I don't do caricatures because you're essentially making a cartoony version of somebody, and you have to emphasize shit about them. If somebody's sensitive about their huge nose, and you draw an even larger nose on their face, and you might hurt some feelings. And I'm not in this to do that. So yeah, there you go. Here's your Borderlands piece. Got a little welcome to Pandora up there. Got my signature in front of Zero's head when he does that little projecting thing that he does. So there you go. There you have it. All right, friendos. Well, there you go. There's your Borderlands 2 piece. I could have done some things better, perhaps. Maybe Maya's face could have been a little less lopsided, because a little bit on the lopsided side. Axton, I could have maybe taken some more time with his face, but quite frankly, I find his character boring. He's just a regular white dude running around in commando gear. Hey, Turbo, what do you think I could have done better? Nothing? All right. Turbo's happy with it. As always, you guys can check us out on the Facebooks at facebook.com/Stephen Larson. I've got a Tumblr now at Friendo Sketchpad that you can follow. That's where I put all my stuff up. And of course, there's my shop at friendoworkshop.bigcartel.com. You gonna walk away from me, Turbo? I've got all sorts of great prints. I've got this t-shirt you can buy there, and I'll be putting more stuff up very shortly. So check that out too. Oh, and I've got my own Twitter now, because I've been sharing my Twitter with Larson for the longest time. I got my own Twitter now. I'm still going to put stuff up at Stephen Larson, but now I've got MF Steve here. That's at the Twitters. I'm going to try to link to some artists that I like, some comic books that I like, and yeah, you can follow me there. And hey, maybe I'll follow you or give you a retweet if you can get me some good artwork or some shit. I don't know. Anyways, that's it for the Friendo Workshop. Hope you guys send me some cool stuff. Show me your artwork. Let me know what you guys are up to, and we'll see you guys later.